Hello everyone, welcome back to the channel. Today I'm going to talk about this little flash that I've owned for about 4 years now, but it's a great companion to my Nikon Z6. I'll show you how you can use your camera to get 30 different flash power settings from this little flash that almost has no buttons at the back. It has an on and off button, that's it. So this flash is basically a TTL flash. So if you stick around, I'm going to show you how I work it, and I'm able to control the flash power and use it to get great images. All right, thank you for being here. If you're new here, do well to subscribe and leave a like button and tell me if you think this is the flash solution for you, or you go with a bigger, more reliable flash. It's up to you.
All right, so if you look closely at this image, I'm the one in the far left, and I'm holding a Nikon Z6 with a Sigma 135 attached to it. On top of that, I have my Godox X1 transmitter on there, and I have the SB 300 on top of the transmitter because that transmitter has the horseshoe. Now, the good thing about this flash is that it's so little, like you can add it on top of the transmitter and it doesn't make your camera too bulky. But this was not the only flash I was using. I had 3 other flashes in the corners of the room. I had an 8200, I had a TT685N, and so I was literally freezing motion with flash. So that enabled me to shoot at a much lower shutter speed. And this, with that little flash attached on top, I couldn't shoot any faster than 1/200th of a second. But for slow dance, it worked just fine. So you have to have all that in mind and, make a good decision. If you don't fully understand the limitations of that flash, then don't use it. I normally wouldn't use it for a wedding, but on that day I wanted a kick light, and I didn't have one of my other smaller flashes with me, so that's why I used it.
Alright guys, so I'm going to give this a quick test. This flash is able to bend backwards 120 degrees, so you can actually bounce it off of a wall so that you can get soft light. And I just like that it doesn't tilt all the way back, but the fact that it flips back and forward is great. So we're going to take a couple pictures of Sam. We're going to start from an exposure compensation of -5, and we're going to work our way all the way to +5. Now, on the Nikon Z6, you can move in increments of 0.3. So we actually have 30 stops, 30 different levels of power that we can assign to this flash.
All right, so to change the exposure compensation on your Nikon Z6 or Z7, you press and hold down the plus or minus button. My forefinger is covering it right now because I'm pressing and holding it down, and you scroll back or forth, forward or backwards. You can go all the way up to +5 or all the way down to -5. Now, remember, these were the only settings I was changing. I did not change anything else.
All right, so this is the first one, -5. Okay, -4.7. -4.3.
All right, hello guys. So these are the images I took, and I want you guys to keep an eye up here. You will see that the settings don't change. We have ISO 500. I'll use the 50, so that cannot change, and then f7.1, and I was shooting at 1/200th of a second. Now, one other thing you should note is that this flash can only shoot up to 1/200th of a second. It's not high-speed sync capable, so you cannot go up into 1/320th or anything higher than that. Surprisingly, also you can go into 1/250th. So just bear that in mind. That's one limitation you have. But if you are freezing motion with flash and stuff, 1/200 is good enough. All right. So I'm going to show you how the image is changed by pressing and holding down the plus or minus button and then using the back scroll to increase my exposure compensation. So watch this. So this is the first image right here, and this image was taken at an exposure compensation of -5. So the next one, that's minus 4.7. Next one, minus 4.3. Next one, minus 4. Next one, minus 3.7. Next one, minus 3.3. Next one, minus 3. The next one, minus 2.7. Minus 2.3. Minus 2. Next one, minus 1.7. 1.3. Minus 1. So minus 0.7. Minus 0.3 and 0. So this is 0. Already it's a little blown out at 0 because I think my ISO was even a little too high. But I mean, none of that matters because we are shooting in manual. So if you look up here, the settings are not changing. The settings don't change for any of them. Okay. So this is 0. So we go, this is 0.3 exposure compensation plus 0.3 plus 0.7 plus 1 plus 1.3 plus 1.7 plus 2 plus 2.3 2.7 plus 3. So I stopped at plus 0.3 because the image was getting a little blown out, and I'm sure by now you get the picture. So what I'm trying to show here is that even though this flash doesn't have any manual power dials, you can just use the exposure compensation to let it either fire more to fire brighter or less brighter. And there are 15 different settings that you can use to control this, and that's huge if you know how to use it right. So that's all I wanted to share. Thank you for watching, and peace.